For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of kind of like a pitching tutorial video on how you're going to pitch your the Vango sunlight awning. So this one's basically designed, there's two different models really in their range. One designed more for caravan, we've done a separate video for that as well. Whereas this one is actually more for the camper van, hence why I've got it situated next to the Ford Custom we've got here. So first things first is what we're going to do is just unravel it. It comes in sort of several different components really. We're just going to kind of put everything aside. The joys of the awning itself is obviously it's like a sun canopy that can also be a complete enclosure. And what we've kind of got going on here is just everything all directly zipped into the panel itself. So what I'm going to do is actually feed it directly into rail. So there's a 6 and 4 mil beading on the awning. So from here I'm just going to feed that into the wind out, just so we can obviously connect it to the vehicle first. And it doesn't matter what kind of groove you've got, be it a you know, a wind out awning or a normal kind of reamer rail, this will actually quite nice and neatly fit in with all of that. So crucial part, if you've got a second pair of hands, makes life a lot easier just to feed it kind of directly in. Just got to make sure you don't get too much of the fabric in with it at the same time. Cool. So the main part of it is nice and neatly on there. We'll probably just bring that across a little bit. So first thing we want to do is obviously position it on the vehicle itself. So we've attached it on. We will make sure we kind of cover that front door just so we can obviously open up nice and neatly within that section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use my own pegs for the sake of the video, just save using the normal ones. But you can utilise them as if you want to as well. We've also got some thrower straps there which are in the peg bag, which you can utilise over the top. And we'll get the pump out ready so we can start pumping when needed. So the first thing now, I've got it kind of actually onto the vehicle itself. What I want to do is actually peg it against the vehicle just to kind of get that draft. We'll sort of position it alongside. We'll just peg directly down. We've got some high visibility like orange guidelines, so there's the ones you want to kind of utilise. You want to go underneath the vehicle a little bit just to give yourself a little bit more of a tighter fit. What you can always do is slacken this off if need be, so it's always easier to go tighter than you think than too loose. So I say we'll do the back ones first. And then again we'll go directly down with this. Just go around the back of the wheel arch. Like I said, same sort of thing. Ideally you can get the peg in at a 45-degree angle, just makes life a little bit easier when it comes to kind of pegging the main part of it out. Now what we're going to do is, because we've got all the sides and everything already zipped in, what I'm going to do is just make sure all the zips are down to the bottom before I kind of fully peg it out. Now ideally you want to take this nice and square if you can, just make sure it's all got to sit properly. So I'm going to go first and foremost into you've got two, again, points. I'm going to go with the further one, and you want to kind of get it dead square, directly in line, just to tension it through. Like I said, you want to probably extend the pegging point a little bit so you can have a little bit more play into it. What I will actually do is just peg either side as well, and just to make sure I can get the width pretty much bang on. It then will give me something to peg against on the other side as well. So again, we'll kind of follow the line directly out. Keep it nice and tidy, extend that pegging point just a little bit. Again, insert that peg at a 45-degree angle just to kind of keep it. It means really as it pulls back, it's not pulling straight up, it's kind of pulling almost back on itself, and then we'll just get that width tweaked. So Now we've kind of got it pretty much nailed down where we want it to be. What we can utilise now is actually inflate it. You've got one single tube. Also, you've got the manual pump supply as standard. There is a pressure gauge on there as well, so really looking for the green zone, about 7 psi. Off the awning arch. So the bayonet locks on nice and neatly. That's fine. There we go, that's better. Just a little bit stuck. Sorts it out. Like I said, 7 psi is the recommendation. You'll know it'll pretty much go quite firm when it sort of inflates. Like I said, there's a little needle on the pressure gauge itself, so you kind of want to be in the green zone. Like I said, 7's bang in the middle of the green. You can go up to 8 if you really wanted to. Might just need a little bit of a hand just popping up into place. So I think we can use the guide points. Lovely. And then we'll just peg that dead straight out. For me, it depends obviously how much pitch size you've got. I always personally like to kind of extend these as long as I possibly can. We're just going to do it approximately for the time being, just to peg it out. The key thing of going out further is that rather than pegging it directly down, you're pegging it outwards. So you're pulling the fabric out rather than stressing it down. That's better. Looking a bit better now. Perfect. And from there we can actually then do the rest of the guide points. We'll start kind of with the front panel. Really want to peg it almost back against itself, so just keep it all quite neat and tidy. With the cross peg points, you sort of cross them over. So we start kind of in the corner. Keeps it looking quite nice and sharp. We can also tension it if we need to get a bit more tension in the front section. There is obviously a difference in kind of height in general, depending on how it's going to kind of sit. And then we can do the sides. So you have got a little bit of play in the sides as well, so we can always just kind of take that up, just to get the sides looking a bit sharper if need be. Of course, you can pitch just the canopy part on its own or with the panels inside. But what I've done is I've sort of zipped everything together. Reason being it's important because obviously it means you've got a set distance away from the main body of it. So again, just much easier to do. And then we've got the additional guide points we can then go out. With these, you want to try and probably take them out the side, just sort of where the camera is. Just keeps it, as long as you get the front part. So as long as you've got these little triangle corners sort of sitting quite tight, then generally you're pretty good to go. And then we'll just do this other side down here. So again, very simple, very easy, quite a nice little concept. Doesn't take too much time. So because it essentially is a fixed awning rather than a driveway, it doesn't take, you're attaching onto the main body of it. We've then got a ground sheet we can obviously opt to have in or out. It actually just kind of clips in the middle, the main part of it. So again, that creates that kind of overall kind of seal. It's not always going to be completely weather tight, just because obviously there's always going to be a little bit of gap from wherever you're connecting the rail to. You know, you can probably get it as tight as you can. There's no initial pegging points or anything suctioning on there to kind of get it tight as you need to. But it's nice to have the option. And like I said, it takes no more than sort of 5-6 minutes to pitch the whole thing. I think that's back to how long it's took me. Yeah, sits really well, looks really nice. We're also going to move on to the packing, but if in the meantime you can check out our pitch, we've done a review video separately on this as well to go into more details about it, so you can check that out if need be. But let's flip on and move on to packing it away. So now we move on to packing it down. Basically the same sort of thing in reverse, depending on how you want to utilise it next time around. It's not a bad thing to obviously remove the side panels, remove the front panel and put it in separately. Generally, for pure quick and ease, it's easier to put up and down in one unit. Like I said, when it comes to pitching, it's much easier if the sides are in place, just because it kind of gives you a bit more of an understanding of obviously how deep to come out from the side. But again, I say you can make it all you want really. So what I'm going to do to start is by just unpegging the main kind of corners. So unpeg all the middle panels, or the front panels. So we've just got our main, basically main front two pegs, and also our the main storm straps which are located at the front. So everything else is basically just left alone, doing nothing else. From this point here we can actually deflate it. So with this you want to make sure you push the valve in and rotate it so it stays open. There's obviously the valve is just on the one side. From here now we can also remove the front storm strap pegs and then remove your main pegging points on the front. So there now should be nothing really holding that in place. From here we should be able just to slide it off a rail, depending obviously if the rail's capped on one side. With this one obviously it's open on the far side. We can just basically pull that along, feed it out. What we're doing now is flip it on its roof. I have, like I said, the ground sheet, I've removed that from it just because it's less like a trap air, and again it's easier to store it separately. Now, because the valve is located on one side, what I want to do is make sure I'm kind of folding directly towards the valve. So we can just, I like to get the feet of the tube and just bring that down square. So you want to try and keep the width there across it. Fold the extra bits of canvas inside. So it's almost like you're just folding the triangles in. So you have got a bit like a triangle kind of style. And then we're going to fold it in about a bag shaped width. So if you get also, if need be, utilise the pump. That's going to be a marker of how wide you want the ones to go. I kind of have an idea. You're always better to go a little bit shorter than you are longer. The reason I say that is just purely because when you sort of fold it, the fabric tends to bulge a little bit. Just makes life that a little bit easier when it comes to it. And then we go again. Again, each time I prefer to give it a little bit of press down, because what we do is we're just naturally walking that air out of that tube. Okay. And then we'll fold that last little bit over. So what we've got essentially is a nice big long sausage. That means also we're obviously feeding directly to the valve itself. Now, at this point here, I personally like to pop the bag directly at the end. This just means when I'm rolling it, I just roll it directly into the bag itself. If you've got some ties, again, you can tie it up just to make it nice, bit of a neater job. And again, we'll just pop the ground sheet in place as well. So we'll put that last little bit just there. I always find it's best to put the pump and the pegs as a starting point, because it gives you something a bit solid to wrap around then. It's crucial getting that nice tight fold to start with, otherwise you'll find it just kind of gets bigger and bigger as you go along. So I'm just going to work our way out, and like I said, because we're doing it from basically the caber side down to the ground, again we're pushing all of that internal air out towards the valve, which is obviously located at the bottom. Again, keeping it nice and tight in terms of the fold. And then because we're directly on the bag, we can just insert push that last little bit in. And it's in there, pump pegs, the works. We can then just obviously zip that up. Still got plenty of room in the bag there as well. Compression straps if you really need it, just to get it a little bit tighter. And we're good to go. So yeah, that's how you go pack it away. Like I said, for more information, you can check the link below this video. It'll take you through to our website. We've got things like latest prices, pack sizes, 4 dimensions, as well as obviously a separate review video we've done on this as well. But very quick, very easy, a great little a little option to add on to the vehicle itself. But hopefully it's been helpful, and we should hopefully see you again soon in our next Attwoolls Outdoors demonstration video, pitching video, or the general videos we have as well. So thank you very much for watching.